In our detention center, you'll actually find all types of children with respect to demographics, educational attainment. We got honor roll students that find themselves here. We have students that may never be on the National Honor Society, and they're here as well. We have kids that are star athletes, and then we have kids that don't participate in extracurricular activities at all. We have children that come from gated communities, and then have children who come from what would be considered some kind of project.
And this is a generalization, obviously, but there's really two kinds of kids. One, I would say, is the quote-unquote normal child, normal parenting, normal upbringing, and they make a terrible decision. You have a regular kid with, they know right from wrong, and they have decent parents, and they go to school, but they run with the wrong crowd, whatever this, they can have an influence that has a negative influence, but they make a terrible decision and they're coming into court. And then you have, unfortunately, the other kind of kid is the child who really doesn't have a positive upbringing. In 2021, 304 children came to juvenile detention. Again, there's 60,000 children in the parish. Only 304 children came to juvenile detention that year. Only 66 of them came back twice. So in a parish of 60,000, only 66 children came back to detention twice. I got all of their files, and their files for repeat offenders are usually, about that thick. They've been with us since they were 11 or 12 years old.
Of course, what we find with the residents that do come in, though, it is, the majority of them happen to be male, and the majority of them happen to be black. When we deal with our female population and residents, it's important to know that we're dealing with a group of young ladies who have dealt with some trauma. In fact, there is a high incidence of testing positive for STDs when the young ladies come in, and a very high percentage of them have dealt with some form of sexual trauma.
There's really one other major pattern that you're going to see is the influence of their trauma. So just as examples, 100% of the girls that come in juvenile detention have been either molested or raped. Probably 60% of the boys. It's a harder number to get. The boys are not as good about reporting it. These are kids that have major anger responses. They have explosive anger problems. They come across as really angry kids, and that's hard because then, if you're an adult trying to work with them, it makes it harder to work with them because they can be pretty angry. But I call it kind of justifiably angry. The girl has explosive anger because she has trauma triggers because she's been raped twice. And so when she experiences that trigger, she does come across as angry. But again, it's a justifiable anger.
At the time, I was staying with my dad, and it was kind of hard for him to parent me the way he wanted to, and I deal with some of the things that I had already been dealing with, so his best result was just calling the police. Every time it would be something that happened, he'll call the police. So after you get the police called on you so many times, you get a name, so I had to come to court because I ended up running away one time, and I went to my grandmother's house, and they told me that I needed to come to court. And from there, I met Ree Casey Jones, and she sentenced me to probation until I turned 18.
I lived with my mom. It was challenging at times.
I was living with my aunt, but then some stuff started going on, so I had to move back in with my mom, and it just went downhill from there. Then my grades started getting bad, and I started fighting a lot. And
my home life was it was a little bit, I got 11 siblings and 5 sisters and 6 brothers. It's good though. I say sometimes it'll be it'll go downhill but uphill sometimes, but it's good. I love my home.
My dad and I we started having disagreements and altercations and stuff, so I ended up moving in with my mom full time when I was about 14. And then I moved back in with my dad, but life was good. When I say life was good, I didn't really worry for anything. I didn't worry about the lights being turned off. I didn't worry about the water being turned off. When I first started coming to court, I was very nervous. I was scared. I was really on my P's and Q's and walking on eggshells because I didn't know how the system was. And I didn't understand what probation was.
We want to make sure that they understand their conditions of probation and that we're not setting them up to fail, that they are able to meet those goals and they're able to follow their conditions of probation. And we give them a lot of support and encouragement.
So when I came and she told me I was on probation, I just remember I was emotional. I cried and cried and cried because it's just like, she doesn't understand. She doesn't know. Like, I'm not a bad kid. I'm not the stereotypical bad kid. I just went through a lot. And at one time, it eased me. It put me at ease because they actually showed that it's not just about, oh, you did something bad and I'm gonna keep getting on you for doing something bad.
We want to help develop what they're good at. So we're basically into competency development as well. So not just community protection, but competency development, helping them to grow and mature and hopefully make better decisions, because we know brain development does not complete until we're in our early 20s and sometimes not even then. So we understand that. We understand child and adolescent development, and we want to work with those children and teens to make sure that they make better decisions.
Something that I would like people to know about me is that I'm not trouble or, what's the word, a problem child. I just feel like I'm not understood.
I make a lot of mistakes, but each one I made so far, it didn't brought me into it has helped me each part, like each step I done been through. So each mistake you make, or I've made, I've learned from it.
I'm a kind of kid, like, I'm respectful sometimes, but it's like, it get a little hard for me, like, to keep control. But
having kids of my own, I see the lack of discipline and structure. I've been here going on 20 years, and I've seen a lot of young men, because that's where I kind of gravitate to, is the young men. A lot of young men just don't have that discipline, don't have that male role model at home, so they lack that structure.
The other major influence, just the negative peers. So if I don't have a team that I'm on, or a positive, I'm not in dance lessons, I'm not at some positive after school activity, I'm sitting on the street corner, and the influence is the 19-year-old who's trying to tell me what he thinks I should do with my life.
The role of our probation officers is significant in the lives of the children. They're not just merely keepers of the prison, if you will, or enforcers of orders of the court, while those are aspects of their job. In many cases, some of them are the fathers or mothers that some kids have never had, or uncle, or a big brother, or that positive role model, or frankly, a reinforcement to some of the things that are actually already being taught in the home. I mean, all of us know, if you've had children, it's amazing the things that someone else could say that you've been saying 100 times, and all of a sudden they're listening like they've gotten a new revelation.
And oftentimes they just want to be heard. They want to feel valued, and they just want to feel important, and they're not getting it at home. So I instill it in my kids, and that's why I give them a listening ear whenever I meet with them on my job.
Although they're out there doing some things that you would think adults would be doing, things that they shouldn't be doing, they are still children. And what they want for is structure. What they want for is someone to really guide them and to love them and to show that to them. And here we pride ourselves in showing these kids that what you did out there, the courts will take care of, and you'll get through that part. But while you're over here with us, whatever it is that you need, we're going to provide it.
I do feel it's important that they see the other side of being a man. They don't see it at home. They see the opposite. That's why I encourage my staff to dress appropriately, speak appropriately, and be professional at all times, because we have to be that beacon of light to those young men and girls.